are really pushing me to the limit, then I would have knew who you were. I'm proud of you for becoming champion and how far you have gotten in the sport of boxing. But I don't remember you because you obviously...
After a long time, the boxing world is now dealing with one of the biggest scams ever. Federal police have caught Tank Davis, a fighter who was once thought to be unbeatable in the sport. The charges against him are very serious. The feds have accused Davis and his camp of bribery directly tied to his infamous fight against Lamont Roach. According to the authorities, Davis's team made sure that Roach would never win, no matter how well he did. This put Tank in jail. And the best part is that Floyd Mayweather himself came to visit.
I mean, I've been in a situation where, though, like, you know, I was in a lose-lose situation. Now, what came out still on top.
With Floyd? You said, what was the lose-lose situation? What you mean?
Davis was arrested just a few days after almost going to jail for breaking the terms of his probation for a hit-and-run accident in 2020. Baltimore Circuit Judge Jalia Handy could have put him in jail, but she decided to give him an extra 18 months of probation instead. She told him he was in dangerous situations and told him to give $10,000 to the Community Assistance Network. Davis just recently stated that he broke the rules of his probation by leaving Florida without permission. He was clearly breaking the law when his Maryland probation officer saw him eating dinner in downtown Baltimore.
Floyd left Bob Arum. It's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship.
The judge, despite her frustrations with Davis's pattern of reckless behavior, allowed him to continue his career under strict supervision. She even granted him permission to attend the 2024 Paris Olympics to support and advise Team USA Boxing, but denied his request to travel to Japan for his 30th birthday. His Florida probation officer had already been lenient, approving multiple travel requests, including to visits to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Handy made it clear that she was running out of patience, telling Davis that she didn't like sending people to jail, but that he needed to wake up. She even told him that the only reason she wanted to see him back in her courtroom was if he decided to go to law school and become an attorney.
Man, I'm not. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's all.
Despite being spared from jail time, Davis's problems have only escalated. Just days later, federal authorities arrested him, launching an investigation that has the potential to expose widespread corruption in professional boxing. The accusation suggests that Davis's team used financial influence to ensure that Roach could never secure a victory. Regardless of his performance, Roach, who put up an incredible fight against Davis, has not been silent about the outcome, making it clear that he felt robbed. He stated that he landed cleaner punches, controlled the pace, and did everything necessary to win. His frustration was echoed by fans and analysts, who immediately pointed out inconsistencies in the scorecards.
He's not gonna hurt me, you know what I mean? So it's good to beef with him than be cool with him, because he can do some crazy stuff. He'll picture him sit bad.
The choice to rule the fight a majority draw was seen by many as an attempt to protect Davis's undefeated record. The accusations now suggest that it wasn't just incompetence from the judges, but something far more deliberate. The case has already started to shake up the sports world. Investigators are reportedly looking into multiple individuals connected to Davis' count, trying to uncover the full extent of the bribery operation. If evidence shows that fight officials were paid off, it could lead to not just Davis's downfall, but a larger reckoning within the sport. Then, just as the story was unfolding, Floyd Mayweather appeared at the custody center to visit Davis. The visit quickly caused some talk.
Oh my goodness. Floyd, you proud of Tank, Floyd? Proud of Tank, Floyd?
Are you what Floyd, what his progress?
Proud of him, Floyd?
Mayweather and Davis have had a well-documented love-hate relationship, with their public fallout leading to months of social media jabs and tension despite their past. Mayweather's presence at such a crucial moment hints that there may be more going on behind the scenes than what is being publicly discussed. Mayweather, one of the most important figures in boxing, had once mentored Davis, guiding him to superstardom. Under the Mayweather Promotions banner, their relationship finally soured, with Davis publicly calling out Mayweather for what he saw as unnecessary control over his career.
Nobody would do business with you if you act like this.
But it happens a lot in boxing, though, right?
Oh yeah, because
to be
it's
common in
strategic.
boxing, yeah.
Floyd was telling him all these things.
Floyd's given this counsel to
Yes.
Gervonta.
Who do you think is telling him to do the rehydration clause?
Floyd Mayweather, in response, distanced himself from Davis, allowing him to operate freely now with Davis sitting in custody. Mayweather's sudden visit raises serious questions about his participation and whether he is trying to protect his former protege or himself. Sources close to the situation have suggested that Mayweather's visit wasn't just a friendly check-in. Some think he was there to assess the situation, gathering information to see just how deep the federal investigation is going. There is speculation that Mayweather, having been a major figure in the sport for decades, knows the severity of the situation and wants to ensure that his name does not get dragged into the mess.
Bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Like when Floyd was 29.
Judge Handy's frustrations with Davis's repeated disregard for legal boundaries now appear to have been justified. His recent court hearing had already painted a picture of an athlete who thought he could operate above the law. His probation officers had suggested jail time, citing his lack of accountability and failure to follow basic directions. The judge had chosen mercy, giving him yet another chance to clean up his act. Instead, just days later, Davis found himself in federal custody, facing charges that could possibly end his career.
When I say certain things, they say, oh, he's hating. There's no different from when I talked about the thing with Gervonta, for instance. When I said that I need all fighters. I said I need all.
Assistant Attorney David Owens had proposed a $25,000 fight during Davis's recent court hearing, but it was evident that many within the legal system are growing tired of his repeated run-ins with the law. His Maryland probation officer Kia Yanzi expressed her frustrations with having to go through his team just to reach him. Judge Handy, after listening to arguments from both sides, ultimately decided ID'd against jail time at that moment, but her final words to Davis now feel eerily prophetic. She had warned him that he needed to wake up and get his life under control. The federal case against Davis is moving quickly, with authorities reportedly gathering evidence that could lead to additional charges.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up.
Boxing insiders are now bracing for what could be a historic legal fight, one that could reshape the landscape of the sport. If the accusations are proven true, Davis could face severe legal consequences, including possible prison time and the stripping of his championship titles. Mayweather's visit has only added more debate to the situation. His participation, whether as an advisor, a concerned former mentor, or a figure with his interests to protect, is now under heavy speculation.
It was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting me.
Okay.
She kept hitting me on the Snapchat. So they sent it to Floyd, and Floyd bugged out.
Davis had made it clear time and time again that his relationship with Mayweather was far from perfect. He had accused his former mentor of trying to control him, undermine his success, and even ruin his career. The tension between them had been brewing for years, with Davis publicly calling out Mayweather for his ego and refusal to let other fighters shine. And yet, despite all of that, it was Mayweather who showed up at the facility after Davis was taken into custody. The visit came as a shock to many. Davis had just been on record criticizing Mayweather, calling him out for trying to stop fighters from beating him.
Side of the ring.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Yeah, September.
He had slammed Mayweather for suggesting that Terence Crawford fight David Benavidez, calling it a ridiculous idea that only served to make Mayweather look like he was still in control of boxing the way Davis saw it. Mayweather was always looking for ways to keep himself in the spotlight, unwilling to let anyone else take the throne. He respected Mayweather's skills and even admitted that sometimes Mayweather could be decent, but the core of their relationship was broken. He didn't trust him, And yet here Mayweather was, coming to see him after his arrest, those close too. Davis weren't buying that Mayweather was there out of genuine worry. Many in Tank's circle thought that Mayweather was there for himself, not for Davis.
He was telling me just stay calm. I always like to listen to Floyd when it comes to big stages like this, because he's the only one that been in my shoes. And
the moment the news broke that the feds had arrested Davis on bribery charges, people started guessing about how deep the corruption went. If Davis and his team had manipulated the result of the Lamont Roach fight, then it is only a matter of time before the investigation starts pulling in more names. Mayweather's past with Davis is messy, and this visit only adds to the confusion. If he truly wanted nothing to do with Davis anymore, why is he suddenly showing up? People in the boxing world know Mayweather isn't the type to insert himself into a situation unless it helps him in some way. Some assume that he was there to get a feel for how much Davis might say under pressure. The feds have a reputation for flipping people, getting them to talk in exchange for a lighter term. If Davis starts naming people, if he starts exposing just how many fights were rigged, things could get ugly.
He can sell tickets. He's got, athletes coming out. He's got celebrities coming to his fights. And not only that, he finishes the show with knockouts. He's never in boring fights. What would we always say about Floyd? Yes, he's a big star and everyone would come out to watch him fight. Yep. But a lot of times after you bought his pay-per-views, you were like, oh man, I did it again. I bought another pay-per-view.
There is also the fact that Davis has long accused Mayweather of trying to sabotage him. He had spoken about it openly, saying that Mayweather wanted him to lose the Jose Pedraza fight back in 2017. Davis had been dealing with financial issues, wasn't in his best shape, and felt that Mayweather threw him into that fight expecting him to fail. But instead of falling apart, he dominated and won the IBF Super Featherweight title. That win should have been a turning point in their relationship, but Davis always thought that Mayweather wasn't happy about it. He didn't celebrate Davis's success the way a mentor should. Instead, Davis felt Mayweather saw him as competition.
Say, man, look, man. Your beef is not with Floyd Mayweather. You sitting here beefing with Floyd. It's a fighter out here that's been calling your name that want to fight.
This situation got even messier when Davis recently suggested that his relationship with Mayweather's daughter had added fuel to the fire. Davis had claimed that Mayweather lost his mind after finding out his daughter had been messaging him. It was personal, and when things got personal, Mayweather became unpredictable. Some sources suggest that Mayweather's visit isn't just about Davis, it is about the sport itself. The bribery accusations had already sent shockwaves through boxing, and if the investigation dug deep enough, it could expose more than just Davis. Fight fixing wasn't new. People had whispered about it for years, but if the feds had concrete evidence that Davis's camp had paid to rig the outcome of his fight with Roach, it meant that boxing's darkest secrets were at risk of coming to light. Mayweather, a man who had built an empire in the sport, could not afford to have boxing's credibility go up in flames.
Round onwards, Lamont Roach outlands Tank, outpunches Tank, and the fight ends in a majority draw. If in round...
Davis, despite all his issues with Mayweather, likely knew that Mayweather's sudden visit wasn't as easy as it seemed. Mayweather has been one of the most carefully calculated figures in boxing. Every move he makes is strategic. And whether Davis liked it or not, Mayweather is still a strong figure, someone who could pull strings behind the scenes. But this time things were different. Davis wasn't some young, up-and-coming fighter under Mayweather's control. He was a star in his own right, one who had been open about cutting ties with Mayweather and calling him out.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more. And I should have did more. I was lost in
He wasn't going to suddenly start trusting him just because he showed up. If anything, the visit may have only reinforced what Davis had been saying all along, that Mayweather didn't want to see him rise, that he always had to be the one in charge. The fact that Mayweather even stepped into the situation at all was enough to get people talking. If this is just about Tank, why is Mayweather involving himself? Why now? Davis wasn't expecting help from Mayweather. He had clarified it that he was moving on from that part of his career, and yet here Mayweather is inserting himself into the story at the most critical moment.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
Jeff Mayweather's words have only added more fuel to an already raging fire. His words carried weight not just because of his experience in fighting but also because his last name came from Floyd Mayweather's camp. His comment wasn't just an opinion. It felt like a direct shot at Gervonta Davis. Many saw it as another calculated move from the Mayweather team to distance themselves from Tank. Now, a controversy surrounds him. The biggest takeaway from Jeff's comments was his agreement that the 9th round incident should have been ruled a knockdown. That one moment could have entirely changed the result of the fight, giving Lamont Roach Jr. a victory instead of a draw. That alone was enough to make people question what really happened that night.
He got good skills. That's why he's here. I think he's 25-0 with 10 knockouts. So I think he got the he's a A+.
The New York State Athletic Commission had already opened an investigation into the scoring, and now with the Mayweather family member publicly agreeing that the decision was questionable, the situation had escalated even further. Roach had already made it clear that he wasn't letting this go. He wasn't just asking for a rematch, he was demanding that the decision be overturned and that he be awarded the win. He had fought a close, hard-fought battle, and the 9th round controversy only strengthened his case. If the commission ruled that the round should have been scored 10-8, Roach could be declared the rightful winner. That would be a massive hit to Davis, who was already dealing with his ongoing legal troubles.
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you can get knocked out like that. So
the way Jeff Mayweather broke it down made it even worse for Tank. He pointed out that even if the punch wasn't a knockout shot, Davis had responded in a way that should have been penalized. It wasn't just about whether Roach's punch was hard enough. It was about the rules of boxing. Kneeling without a valid foul should have resulted in an official knockdown call. By the book, Tank should have lost that point. If the judges had scored it correctly, the entire outcome of the fight would have changed.
If people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz.
Some boxing fans claimed that Jeff Mayweather's words were just another way for the Mayweather camp to pile onto Tank's troubles. The friendship between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather had already deteriorated beyond repair, and now with the investigation heating up, it was starting to feel like Floyd's camp was totally throwing Davis under the bus. Instead of supporting him, they were agreeing with his critics. For Davis, this is turning into a nightmare. The fight with Roach was supposed to be another showcase of his dominance, but instead it had become one of the biggest controversies of his career. First the bribery allegations surrounding the event, and now the scrutiny over whether he should have even been given the draw in the first place. His image has already taken a hit with the bribery claims, but if the commission overturned the decision in favor of Roach, it would be catastrophic.
I remember first hearing an issue between Floyd and Gervonta before Gervonta fought Pedraza. And the issue I heard was that Floyd didn't want Gervonta to stay in Baltimore because he felt there was too many distractions for him in Baltimore, and he wanted...
It wasn't just about this one fight. A decision like that would destroy Tank's credibility as a champion. The timing of Jeff Mayweather's statements couldn't be ignored. This wasn't something he had to talk on, yet he did. And not only did he comment, but he also clarified it that he agreed with the idea that Davis should have lost the fight. That was a major statement, and it raised an even bigger question. Was this just Jeff speaking his mind, or was this Floyd's side making a calculated move to further discredit Davis? For years, Mayweather and Davis had been going back and forth, taking shots at each other in interviews and on social media. But now with Davis under federal investigation and his latest fight under review, it felt like Floyd's side was fully cutting ties. If this decision was overturned, Davis wouldn't just lose a fight, he would lose a massive amount of credibility, and Floyd's camp wouldn't be there to protect him.
I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more power shots. And I thought I was doing my thing. So I'm not really that frustrated about that. But if that was kind of a knockdown.
Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. wasn't backing down. He had put on an impressive show, and now with Jeff Mayweather backing up his claims, he had even more leverage in his push for justice. If the commission decided in his favor, It would be one of the biggest shakeups in boxing in years. It wasn't often that high-profile fights ended in official ruling reversals, but this case was unique. The controversy was undeniable. The bribery probe only made things worse, and now with even respected boxing figures like Jeff Mayweather admitting that a mistake was made, the pressure on the commission was growing. If the ruling was changed, it wouldn't just be a loss for Davis, it would be a complete humiliation. It would mean that after all the talk, all the heat, and all the building, he didn't actually win. It would also give Roach a huge career boost. He had been overlooked in the lead up to the fight, but now he was at the heart of one of the biggest controversies in recent boxing history. If he was given the win, his stock would skyrocket overnight. Davis is running out of choices. If he speaks out too strongly, it could make him look guilty. If he stays quiet, it could make it seem like he has no defense. The only way forward was to hope that the commission decided against overturning the ruling, but with every passing day, that is looking less and less likely. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more information.